Gotta Have Miami show?
Yes.
Or podcast, whatever the heck this is.
I think it's a show because you can see us.
Yes, that's true. You can see us. So this is episode 21.
21.
And this is also, we're all messed up. We didn't even do, well, how many we've missed? Like 3 weeks?
I think we're on week 3 of no show.
And we're going to explain to you why we are on week 3 of no shows.
Week 1's on you.
Week 1's on me. We were on vacation. We went to Sedona.
Nice.
To see Montañas Rojas.
Were they red?
Yeah, they were red. So it was very, very pretty. And one of the things that they tell you in Arizona is how many ways you can die.
Wow.
With like rattlesnakes and scorpions, and just the heat alone was 104. But as they like to say, it's a different heat.
Phone's ringing.
Oh, my phone's ringing. Gee, what a surprise. Okay. There, it's not ringing anymore. We'll call it back.
So then, so week 1, you're up in Arizona.
Then we get back, and that was the week of
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day was on the Monday, and we had a little family thing.
And then it started. The kids were sick.
One of your kids was dying,
Right.
Literally hospital, the whole 9 yards.
The whole thing.
And then it just became a little bit more. I'll let you tell that part of the story, seeing as it ravaged.
It just went through my household. So week 2 and 3 of no shows on me. So it starts, one person in the house gets sick, and of course we all can't get sick at one time. So over the course of 2 weeks, my whole family, my kids and my husband and myself, had influenza A. Influenza A. Probably other things too that we don't know about, but we know we all had influenza A. So that took 2 weeks, and we're still kind of trying to recover from it.
So
really kicked our butt.
This is actually our first day back to kind of work.
Yeah.
Because we've been gone for quite some time.
I mean, I know you've been working kind of.
Yeah, we have. We've been working kind of. But it's just it's a summer in Miami.
Yeah,
it's 5,000 degrees outside.
It is 5,000 degrees outside, and then everyone has graduations.
Yep, we went through that.
So, the market's kind of slow because people are focusing on going on summer vacations and graduating, and I don't blame them.
Graduating. When I was a kid, we didn't have like that first grade graduation thing.
Listen, we celebrate everything in 2022.
Christ,
that end of the world is near. So we celebrate every day. Kindergarten, first grade, eighth grade.
I love it. We didn't get any of that. I'm gonna have to go back.
Would you like us to have a graduation?
A whole graduation party.
I have an extra capping gown now. I think we'll get it on your head.
Let's do it. I think I'm in for that. Again, we promised to come back into a regular rhythm. It was just brutal.
It's life,
It's brutal when it was. I mean, to see Mav go down that way, it was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was a
so
rough time.
Yeah, middle of dinner, and all of a sudden, by the way, we're going to the hospital.
We're gone. We won't even be back. We're out of here.
So, and then the rest of us old people are like wandering around going,
are we next? Check my temperature.
Right, check. So fortunately, knock on wood, we made it through.
I'm glad you guys didn't get the illness, because that was bad. That was the worst illness I think I might have had in my life.
Well, Carlos sent me that whole Eminem photo that he had with a little hoodie, and he looked like hell.
Yeah, he
was rough.
The boys do worse,
Yeah, he was doing rough.
He didn't have a good time.
No, so now we're back, and we're going to talk a little bit about the market.
Yeah, we can talk about the market.
And what's going on?
I think that it's no secret that it has definitely slowed down.
Yes.
And you're saying it's just summer.
It's usually through summer months. You always get a lull for a lot of the same reasons you just explained. You explained the fact that it's graduation. People are starting off on their vacations times. A lot of people from, especially Miami, take off and don't come back until the weather changes, September. I don't blame them either. I would highly recommend it. If you can do it, get the heck out of here, because it is just the mosquitoes are getting bigger.
They are.
They are, right?
Yes.
They're just bigger and more nasty and just like all over.
Yeah.
But again, it's very common. If you've been doing this long enough, and we've been doing it for quite some time, is that you get that summer lull, and then we do pick up, which is a little interesting. We'll start to see some traffic pick up in August as people trying to make the school year.
Yeah.
And then we'll start to come back in. But right now, this June, July, we do get a lot of tenants, because what ends up happening down here is you're going to see that, especially now since everybody's back in school, is you get that whole University of Miami push.
Right.
So then you're going to start seeing a lot of folks come into town, and then you start to see some of the rentals, and I feel bad for them because it's still a little tough out there.
It is tough, but I think it's definitely cooled down.
Yeah.
You know, I've been in a few rental situations with tenants, and it's not as crazy and chaotic as it was. And even we had a rental listing, and we didn't have that 50 offers on the first day situation. So, you know, it's different. It's slowing down, you know, so if you are a renter or you are a buyer, now's your time.
Yeah, it is. It's actually, there's not as much competition out there. That's one of the things we've talked about several times over, is that we can see that when we go into an open house, there's not as many people. And I use this example, I don't know, we didn't talk because this kind of happened afterwards, but we were looking at a property in Palmetto Bay that had been under contract. It went over asking on the original contract price.
Right.
Then the deal fell apart. I personally think it just fell apart simply because folks didn't want to pay for what they were buying.
Yeah.
But the interesting part is the agent didn't really have anything backed up. So that kind of indicates to me that that person that overpaid realized that they didn't have to overpay. And then, of course, the agent, you know, bumped it up to the new number. That was the overpaid number. But now, when that deal fell apart, there's no backup on it. There's nothing that you can pick up. So I think really what we're seeing is just that competitive nature. And again, it's all relative to price points and to locations.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing that I noticed that, you know, probably about a month and a half ago, is that, and even on some of our listings that we've had, it hasn't been as competitive as before.
And the open houses don't have a line down the block anymore.
And then the QR code and stuff like that. But the way we roll is we sell them before they even hit the market. That's how we roll.
That's the best way to roll.
That's how we're rolling right now. So it's just a very interesting thing. But I think we're going to see a slowdown, and then we'll start to see it pick back up. Hopefully August, September will be that little bit of a trend.
And I mean, also the slowdown, you could probably contribute a little bit to interest rates.
Yeah.
I think people were going buy crazy with those low interest rates, even though they're not incredibly high. But people feel they're double what they were a year and a half ago.
And again, I've mentioned that's what our entry level, that was cheap when I was purchasing our first property. The other thing too, and one of the things that somebody had a client of mine call me today and talk about, you know, some investment properties. And I think what's going to happen there too is the investors still will stay out there.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to gobble up some of these little properties, you know, in the 250, 300 range if you can find them.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, those are still being, you know, competed against.
Of course. Well, I don't think the interest rates are affecting the investors.
No, they don't affect them. Yeah. And that was a conversation. How was the market being affected? And I said, listen, at certain segments it's interest rates, and the other segments it's not going to affect it at all.
Right.
And at the high end, it doesn't affect it high at all.
Something cool going on in Florida is the Hometown Heroes program.
Right. You mentioned that.
Yeah. So I've spoken to a few mortgage brokers, and they've provided me some information. Cool stuff. So if you hold a license with the state of Florida, there's a whole bunch of occupations, but the gist of it, like teachers, nurses, firefighters, police officers, and everything in between there's a list online. They're providing down payment and closing cost assistance.
Oh, great.
So it's not free money, but it's interest-free money. So you could borrow the money to get that down payment and closing cost, and then there's a certain time frame you have to pay it back, but you're paying it back at no interest. So it's a big help if you're in one of those occupations and you want to pick up a property. Now would be a good time because the competition has lessened, you know, like I think people that don't own property got really discouraged in the past 2 years because you heard all these crazy stories. You're like, I never will have a shot. I think that's changed.
Yes. Now I think there's some options out there. Also, another thing too is if you are a homeowner, a current homeowner, really take a look at your insurance policies as they're starting to renew. Make sure that you do have an updated wind mitigation. If you have done any improvements, make sure that the policy reflects it.
Yeah.
I speak of firsthand as my policy went down
$9,000?
About $9,000, and it was simply because we have glass block, and glass block isn't structural anymore, so you have to cover it. So that was one of the big things that was a big hindrance, and I think really if you've been in a home for a bit and you know that you've done some improvements, we've talked about it personally with you about some of the changes. Make sure that you look at the home. Make sure you look at your policies as it's coming to renew, because it's going to renew a lot higher. And there's another thing that's slowing down the market. is the lack of insurance.
Insurance, yeah.
You know, we're seeing it in the condo market, and I think really take a look at your policy. Make sure that you're getting all the credits that you should.
Yeah.
Also, the valuation. Make sure that the property is valued correctly because you do have a limit. Like, you know, our property went up $100,000, and it's funny. I talked to my agent, and my agent said, you know, if you go over $1 million, they won't insure you. And in Broward County, they won't insure you if you're over 700,000.
Really?
So it's really kind of an interesting dynamic. We're really gonna see that play out in the next 2 years.
Yeah, but the wind mitigation for insurance is a big deal because a lot of people, because of the white green programs and all these programs out there, are putting their nice, pretty, fancy hurricane windows. But those are going to give you a break on your interest or on your insurance rate.
And wind mitigation reports aren't that expensive.
I think
They're
it's
quick.
$150.
They usually get them for about $150. I don't want to set the price on anybody, and any inspectors.
Don't quote us.
Don't quote us. But usually they're very, very, and it's really a very quick process. It's not that. You can, hit us up if you guys need some information.
Yeah,
and
we can connect you to some people that
pass
might
you a
help.
couple names, and but really take a look at it. Your policy's renewing. A lot of them are renewing now, and now's the time to really try to see if you can save some money.
Yeah, that's why we did the wind mitigation, because we put the windows in, and so let's see how much I save.
Mine was huge, and it was really because of the glass block.
Yeah.
So just had to shutter them. So it was a big deal. Anything else we got?
Well, that's all we got going on.
We're back.
We're back. We do have some listings.
Yep.
All condos.
Yep.
All condos, and probably 2 investor condos,
Yep.
and 1 if you want to live on South Beach, you have to live it.
Yes.
Let us know.
Yes, you do.
Can't rent it. This is not for investors.
Yeah, these aren't for investors, and we do have a couple of things coming up during the fall season. So we've already got some stuff coming up, and I think we'll kind of pick up a little bit. We'll pick up a little bit back up. Right now, I think it's just a lull, and it's very, very calm.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so.
And I think everyone's kind of waiting to see what what happens with the market.
Yeah, a lot of people have lost a lot of money in the market. And again, it's interesting. You haven't really lost anything. You keep your shares, but you've lost a lot of value, especially if you own Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but Amazon split, so now I own like a bazillion things of Amazon, like $10 before it was like $3,500. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Interesting times.
Interesting times. Just be patient, as we like to say. Everything ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
We've been here before. We will be here again.
Right.
And it's just a matter of making sure that you meet the needs and just have somebody on your side that is going to tell you the truth.
The truth.
The truth. The truth is hard to find.
And sometimes hard to hear.
And hard to hear, exactly. So, real quick aside, I don't know how much time we got here, but real quick aside, I had a client that was referred to me by a friend. And the individual lives on South Beach, on the beach. And they said, I think we love the beach, we love this, we love that, everything about it, but it's going to be, we need to fix the place and expand it. It's going to be, $400,000. And we're thinking about moving into the Grove. And I said, listen, just take the $400,000, drop it in your house on the beach, be done with it, and because you're not going to find anything here in the Grove.
For $400,000?
No. Just the fact that they could go up to $2 million.
Oh.
I said, you're not going to find anything here.
Yeah, you're not.
You're just not going to find anything. We just had a neighbor sell their property for $3-point-something million, and it's like, it's just crazy. The numbers are crazy out there. But again,
But I think that Coconut Grove, I don't know how, got into the grapevine of the elites of this country because the prices and the demand.
I'm an elite.
Now you're an elite.
I'm an elite. I feel very elitist.
You were grandfathered into
exactly.
that.
I'm grandfathered in for that. Yeah.
And it's just, everybody wants to live here.
Yeah.
I feel like the closest thing I could relate it to is like the Hamptons.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? How did everyone decide this was the place to be?
It just happened, and it's going to continue to happen for a bit.
Okay. Well,
2025.
We're here for that.
2025. We're here for it, but it's just the numbers out, and this is my neighborhood. I mean, I lived there since '65, and it's insane. It's insane.
Like I said, your grandfather did. So
I'm grandfathered in, so that's it. So again, enjoy the summer heat.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Mucho piscinitas, mucho pools.
Yes.
And we'll be back on Friday with we've been promising a Coconut Grove Village Council one. We did one. It was way too long. It just bored
We
the hell out of
spared
everybody.
you and
We
we didn't.
spared everything. So well, hopefully maybe on Friday we'll take a look at it. We'll do it.
All right,
Sounds
sounds good.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.
See
Bye.
ya. Bye.